I've been looking forward to this one. Circuit of the Americas. 1,064 horsepower. And not an electric motor in sight.
Still can't quite believe this car exists. The Chevy Corvette has always been the blue-collar supercar, but this really takes it to the next level. If a $200,000 car can ever be a bargain, then this is it. I'm Alistair Weaver for Edmunds with our review of the 2025 Chevrolet Corvette ZR1. Here we go. Now unleash the lock, unleash the power. 130 miles an hour, 140, that's 150, 160, 170 brake, and hard on the brakes, carbon stoppers of course. These give you real confidence, really impressive. Right on the threshold of the ABS, made the apex, oh, feeling like a pro. I've driven the car on, a little bit of a slide there. Still got to respect this thing, 1,000 horsepower. Not really going for lap times today, but I can feel that every lap I'm doing, I'm getting a little bit faster. Starting to really push the limits, this car, which is amazing how much confidence for something that's so fast, how much confidence it actually gives you. Right, now through this little S sequence. Tiny little brake. Through the corner. Take it with the curb. Right, patience with this one. Later turning, you just wait. You have to respect the throttle. You have to respect the throttle. Get it over. And what's also one of them is a lack of turbo lag. The anti-lag system is so nicely honed that you put your foot down, you get this instantaneous wall of torque. Really impressive throttle response, and through this fast right-hander, pretty much apply one lock and then you miss the apex, hit the apex, miss the apex, hit the apex. You feel the benefits of that downforce. Little bit of push, unwind the lock, curb on the exit. Here we go. It's the Formula One start. 150 plus into the braking zone. Big American flag, trail brake it in. It likes that when you're starting to push. This is thrilling, absolutely thrilling.
Chevy sent us out first in a ZR1 without the ZTK suspension package. It's still good, but if you're a track day fan, this ZTK car is a must-have.
It's remarkable how different the car with the track package really is. The springs are different, the dampers have been retuned, but above all else it has Michelin Pilot Cup Sport 2 R tyres, which are pretty much designed for the racetrack. They're phenomenal in the dry, not so good in the rain, and not so good if it's cold. If it's cold and wet, take the Chevy Equinox, you'd probably be faster. But if the conditions are right, they offer absolutely unbelievable grip. Instantly you can feel the turning. This thing is razor sharp. You almost have to kind of readjust a little bit your expectations of how quickly and agile it is. It turns in, little turn of the wheel, and instantly it turns in. Through this long right-hander, you can really feel the impact, that downforce. It's almost like the faster you go, the more grip that you have, which is phenomenally exciting. If you've never driven a high downforce car, it takes a little bit of getting used to, a little bit of acclimatization. The other thing is you can feel the lateral grip. These seats, this would be one big criticism of this car, these seats just do not offer enough support. I'm kind of hanging on the wheel a little bit, don't like that. Coming back into the pit lane, you can feel the adrenaline. It's more of a race car experience than a road car experience, it really is. That was honestly pretty epic. It's a hell of a weapon. You know, I used to think I was like a Porsche 911 GT3 guy, but I love one of these, really.
The 911 GT3 is probably the most obvious rival to the ZR1, but it's more expensive and has less than half the horsepower. Ferrari and Lamborghini both make hybrids with 1,000 ponies, but they cost 3 times as much. And yes, you can have a Tesla Model S Plaid with 1,000 horsepower for 95 grand, but it's not quite the same thing. There's a reason I don't wear an Apple Watch. So, how does Chevy do it? Let's take a closer look.
The ZR1's getting on for 3 times the price of a standard Stingray. So what do you get for all that extra cash? Well, let's start with the important bit. It'd be very easy to say that this is just the 5.5 litre V8 with its flat pane crank from the Corvette Z06, but that would be underselling it. To cope with all the extra forces of compression, Chevy's pretty much upgraded everything. Cylinder head, combustion chamber, and the 8-speed double clutch transmission has also had a major overhaul. Beefier cogs, better oil management, that sort of thing. Tougher shafts too. All to cope with 1,064 horsepower and, just as significantly, 828 pounds-feet of torque.
Let's put that into context. The Corvette Stingray offers 495 horsepower, the hybrid E-Ray 655 horsepower, and the Z06 670. So the ZR1 has almost 400 horsepower more than the Z06 and adds just 200 pounds in mass. At the Edmunds test track, we recorded 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds for the Z06 without a rollout, so the ZR1 should dip under 3 seconds.
And of course, this is still a Corvette, so you still get a sizable ass with enough room for your go faster golf clubs. There you go, sensible shopping advice from Edmunds. But what you don't get on any other Corvette is this split rear window, which is a nod to the 63 Stingray. But in reality, it's less about aesthetics, more about offering additional cooling for the engine. You can either have it with exposed carbon fibre or in body colour, which sort of accentuates the effect. I think this is way cooler. When you have a top speed of 233 miles an hour, it's not surprising that a lot of work has gone into the aerodynamics. Bear in mind that 233 miles an hour is about 80 miles an hour more than the takeoff speed of the Airbus I arrived in this morning. You get a Ferrari-style airflow system that channels air out of the intercoolers through this vent on the hood, up and over the body to this giant rear wing, providing the downforce to help you through the corners. All this extra aero is fantastic at a big open circuit like this because it forces the car to the ground and you can go faster through the corners. But downforce also equates to drag. It's less slippery through the air, which means that it can't hit the claimed 233 miles an hour top speed. So if you're in a bar boasting to your friends that you've got a 230 miles an hour car and you have the big wing, you're lying. Now, I did actually ask the chief engineer of the Corvette, Josh Holder, how fast he thought the car would go with the rear wing, and he reckons somewhere in the 220s, so let's face it, fast enough. Now, you might have seen from the onboard commentary that the car I've been driving has the 2025 model year interior, but Chevy recently announced that for 2026, the Corvette's getting an overhaul with a new cabin, and here it is modelled in the latest E-Ray, and it is a big improvement. The famous, or perhaps infamous, waterfall of switches is gone, replaced by a grab handle. The touchscreens are now larger in size, and you get this extra little one over here. Most of the controls have moved from these buttons into the screens, which you might love or potentially hate. But what is improved is the overall sense of quality. The switches now have a better feel, just feels like a more upmarket product, which Chevy says was the intent all along. Chevy's also going to offer a big range of different trim options so you can personalize your Corvette, carbon fiber, different leathers, 6 different colors of seat belts, that sort of thing. And it's good to see that they're not charging stupid prices for these accessories and personalization options. This is no Porsche. I actually spec'd out the car I would buy using the configurator, and it came to $204,000 on the road as it leaves the dealership, and that was pretty loaded. So well done Chevy for not rinsing us on the optional extras. One thing I should call out, this E-Ray has both a frunk in the nose and a trunk in the rear. On the ZR1 you lose the frunk because of the extra space needed for cooling. One thing that hasn't gone away on the ZR1 is that you can still have it either as a coupe with a removable roof panel or as a full convertible. We haven't driven the convertible yet, but the engineers assure us that the only real difference is that it weighs 100 pounds more. I'd choose the coupe, but then I am a purist. Now, before we move on, I did want to reflect a little bit on this interior. Chevy's only going to end up building a few hundred examples of the ZR1 with the 25 model year cabin, and then of course everything will transition to this, the 26 model year. So if you're buying this as a collector's piece, would you be better off buying the old interior, which will be more exclusive, or the new one, which is nicer to live with? Our money is buy the old one. So, end of the day here at the Circuit of the Americas, I can still feel the adrenaline pumping and the car has just about finished cooling itself off. The heat soak from this thing is quite extraordinary. So what do we think of the ZR1? Well, flying here on the plane, I was trying to imagine how much more car it would be than the Z06, which is already a pretty fantastic achievement. And the reality is it's that and more. It's almost unimaginable that a car with almost 1100 horsepower is this accessible. I love the way it brakes, I love the way it turns, it's so agile, it's so responsive, it's not intimidating, and of course it hits incredibly hard. Corvette has always struggled to take people out of Porsches and Ferraris and Lamborghinis and into the Vette, but with this car, I think they might just manage it. And the price, $200,000 is an extraordinary sum of money to spend on a car, let's not kid ourselves. But this really does feel like a bargain. It's that good. We can't wait to get it back to the Edmunds test track to run all the numbers, and of course we want to run it in Edmunds U-Drags. Will it be fast enough to knock the Lucid Sapphire off the top of our leaderboard? Maybe, and we'll find out very soon.